I got the keys for the truck. But I have 12 on my list. Now, first off, if you're wondering, oh my God, he's videoing while he's driving. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm paying attention to the road. This camera, you can start video by saying video. I will have to shut the camera off with poking it, which it's got a big round button. I can see in my peripheral and poke. So what I'm getting at is don't need the comments going, oh. Anyways, number one. Oh, and these are in no particular order because I have to think of them. Think what to say. But number one that's always been on my mind is know how to read an atlas. Yes, I got an atlas right before I went solo and didn't really know how to read it. Now, I figured it out fairly quickly, but was kind of unsure of things because I never was, hey man, you do it like this or do it like that. But I figured it out. But that's an important thing I think you should know, and I wish I knew, is know how to read an atlas. The next thing is to use and understand the last mile. It's called the last mile on your phone app. Now, you might not be with Prime and you might be watching this. It's also Macro 19 on the Qualcomm. What it is it's basically how to get to your shipper receiver from the interstate that is closest to them. I say use and understand. I did start using it when I was in training, but I didn't really know why it was there. And I did, but it was never, hey man, this is important to use because you can get yourself into trouble, so on and so forth. So I wish I knew that before I got my keys to the truck. Also, if there wasn't a last mile, to know, you know what, call the shipper receiver and ask them what's the best way to get there. Along with that note, ask the person you're talking to, hey, do you know for sure this is a safe truck route? If not, can you transfer me to someone else, in the department? Because I have been given bad directions. But that's an important thing I wish I would have known. Also, do not trust your GPS. When I was in training, I was told, follow the GPS, trust your GPS. When it got me in trouble, why are you trusting your GPS? So I was kind of confused in the issue because after that, trust your GPS. I said it, it's good to go. I'm going to bed from my trainer. It used to take me into all kinds of crazy ways that, I didn't, why are we going that way? Along with don't trust your GPS, when you get off the interstate to fuel, go back that same way, because your GPS a lot of times will have you go the opposite direction and take you through these side roads and put you on the interstate in some other place, which was one, a waste of time, two, can be a scary experience. So don't trust that GPS. Now you're saying, but okay, how am I going to get to where I'm going? Well, there's a couple ways of doing that with Prime. Number one, when you ask for a fuel plan, it will give you underneath that interstates to follow to where you're going, but it also says, confirm that these are legal for weight and, truck restrictions. And you do that by looking in your atlas. Now, what I I do, because I actually run two GPSs. I run the Rand McNally TND 740 and the Qualcomm Navgo system. What I'll do there is I'll look at which one that looks like it's got the best way, because sometimes they don't take you the same way. Confirm last mile on them, and then any state routes or U.S. highways I'll confirm in my atlas are legal, and then confirm in my atlas that those ways make sense to go. So I'm not trusting a GPS without backing it up with atlas and last mile. Important, man, because you can get yourself into trouble. I've seen my GPS many a times go straight and you look and it says no trucks, or you know, it's never really tried to take me on the wrong weight of a bridge, but the city will decide no trucks this way, and Rand McNally doesn't know that, or the Navgo doesn't know that, because it's technically was a legal truck route. The city just decided, no, we don't want trucks going this way. Now, I know she just got up and she shouldn't be, but I guess she's from wanting to risk her life. Now, another one that I wish I would have known is talk to your dispatcher when you're new, you're getting ready to go solo. Talk to your dispatcher. And not just introduce yourself, ask them, hey, how do you run me? I mean, are you gonna give me loads that I can complete? Do I have to really scrutinize them? Or if I see that I'm not gonna have time to complete them, are you gonna know this, and are you planning on repowering me? Will you tell me when you give me a load that you're gonna repower? My dispatcher, after I didn't find this out right away, I find this out probably 2-3 months into my driving career, that he's like, look, you need to trust me. If I give you a load, trust me. If it's a several day load and you know you don't have time to complete it, I know that, and I'm planning on repowering you. He never tells me when he's doing that, but I always know, okay, I trust him, and then at some point I say, hey, I'm going to get repowered, right? And I'll say, yeah. And he did say, hey, but keep an eye out. If I give you a load and it's a overnight load or a one-day load, and you know you can't complete it, let me know right away, because I may have been making a mistake thinking you had more time. Get this truck by me here real quick. It's blowing me all around. The next thing, talking about dispatchers, don't trust night or weekend dispatchers. Now, when I say this, I had a night dispatcher give me information that was going to cause a service failure. Once my dispatch came in during the day, he seen it, he called me, he got me out of trouble, thank goodness, so I didn't get a service failure. And that's when he explained, be careful with night or weekend dispatch. And he gave me names of guys that, are dispatchers, but basically, if you need to know something important, ask them, hey, are you a dispatcher normally? Because sometimes, and this is where you get into trouble, is the guy on dispatch, he's not a dispatcher normally. He's just filling in, trying to make things run smoothly, and he might not know how a clock works and things like that. Or I just had one recently, he didn't know a lot. I had to jump through all kinds of hoops to figure out what's going on. Now, you may have noticed my vest just fell from the roof. Every time Melissa puts it away, it falls. I don't know why she's not tucking it in. I did. It never falls when I put it away. Man. Next, again, talking about dispatch. you're in Springfield, you're going to have drivers lineup that you deal with. They're basically, they dispatch you from Springfield. Now, my first load I was dispatched on, I didn't really understand. He was giving me multiple stops and, you know, hey, there's a couple loads. This is the good load for you. It was the multiple stop load. And I started asking questions, and he started replying like if I was an idiot. I should have said right there, hey, I don't know if you know it, this is my first solo load. I need something that is not going to, you know, this has got multi-stops. Can you give me something with just one stop? Until I need to cut my teeth here as a solo driver, because when I was with my trainer, I never learned how to pre-plan properly. But he intimidated me, was making me feel stupid because I was asking questions, and that's the load I screwed all up. And my dispatcher, Lance Brightshoe, saved me the next over the next couple of days. So that was, you know, a problem, being intimidated. Again, talking about, you know, that know how to pre-plan, figure out how to pre-plan, ask somebody before you just run out there solo. I had no clue how to pre-plan, and just started running the load, and that was going to get me a service failure on my first load because I left a truck stop too soon and was going to run out of time before I can get from the next truck stop to get to my drop point. And that's where my day dispatch, and I say don't trust night dispatch because our weekend, whatever, because I called them and said, hey, I'm thinking I need to stay right here till this time to make it to that drop. And he's, oh, no, just go there and do an 8-2 split, which at the time I didn't know how to do, so hey, know how to do one. That's going to come up in another thing to know. So I get there, or I drive, and I realize when I'm into it, an 8-2 split ain't going to work. I'm going to be there an hour or two late to do an 8-2 split. So that's where I got into trouble there. But again, my dispatcher saved me the next day. He got a lease guy that was there to run my load 3 miles to get it dropped, and then brought back my trailer so I could continue on with the rest of my drops. It was like a 4-dropper on my very first trip. Okay, now we were talking about the 8-2 split. The next one I should have known before I got out there is know how to run your clock. I had no clue. My trainer didn't show me, didn't talk about it. One time he goes, hey, why don't you tell me what time we should leave for this load? One time. And it took me probably, he went in, got lunch, got everything else, and it took me that whole time to come up with how to do it. And he ended up going, no, that's not the optimal way to do it. That would have put me there 5 hours early, and he came up with a way to do it, but he didn't really explain why, how, or anything. And that was the only time, which he knows I failed at it, so he should have keep planning the loads. Also, he wouldn't, he kept telling me how to do it. He's going to show me how to do a trip sheet, but he was never going to let me do one because that would F with his money if I messed it up, which really it wouldn't, because just look at it, make sure I did it right, and you're good. He never showed me how to do a trip sheet. Luckily, they're pretty self-explanatory, but have your trainer just show you how to do one real quick. It only takes a few minutes. When I trained John, every load he dropped, he did his own trip sheets and comm checks and everything else. That's the other thing, know how to write comm checks. Again, they were not hard to figure out, but my trainer one time showed me how to do a comm check, and his attitude was, I'm going to show you this one time and that's it. Well, he showed me how to do it, and I didn't actually do a comp check for probably 3 weeks later, which I couldn't remember. No, it would have been longer than that because it was when I was solo. The other thing is, if possible, get some winter driving experience in. I was going to stay with my trainer until winter, but it just got to the point of, no, this ain't working out right. I need to get off this truck. Prime would have been fine with it. They recommend if you're close to winter, stay on your trainer's truck and get some winter driving it. What's falling over there? Let's see, number 10. I think I'm at 10 now. Wasn't that one? Yeah, I think that's 10. Carry some general tools when you go solo. Some screwdrivers, a couple pairs, pair of pliers, channel locks, big crescent wrench, different tapes, some lock frees for winter time, and some WD-40 for freeing some stuff up. A bottle of soapy water to check your airlines for leaks. I did have a couple of minor repairs I could have done. Oh, a hammer, 100% a hammer. But there was a couple of minor repairs I could have done if I had some general tools, especially a hammer. To get a tray, I had to leave it empty and find another one because it was missing the pin that holds the lock pin to the little air shock that sucks it in. I could have took one of my pins from my deer guard and put it in place, but I had nothing to bang the locking pin out because it was bound up a little bit, and I tried on binding it and it just wouldn't, to pop it in so I can get the thing connected. And when I released the trailer brakes to slide the little air shock into it, it didn't quite make it. Now, I tried a zip tie in there, and when I released it, it just ripped the zip tie in half. So I ended up ditching that trailer and letting Road Assist know that I couldn't get it going. They might want to get somebody over there, which it was by the Pistons shop, to get somebody over there to fix that before someone else has the problem. Number 11, hand lotion. I wish I would have had hand lotion before I left. I didn't get hand lotion for, a couple months into it. My hands were drying out and getting calloused, and, from holding the steering wheel all this time, and, throwing your hands in and out of gloves. So hand lotion, man. You guys know me as loving my hand lotion. My hands are nice and soft now. And the bonus round is know who Crazy Bags and Chad Rich are. That way, if you start doing YouTube, you can keep an eye out for them to infiltrate your YouTube channel and infiltrate your YouTube channel and goof you up. Oh, another important one is, before you get out there, be prepared to read every sign you come across, especially white and black signs. Those white and black signs are actual legal ticketable signs if you don't follow them. But know your signs, read your signs. Now, that's something that I was never really questioned on or tested on. With my trainer, he pretty much didn't care. When I was training John, was coming, so I knew he was watching for signs. Signs are important. Signs are important. Other signs are telling you where, you know, what interstate and everything, and your GPS might be telling you to go a different way. You know, entrance to this interstate is, you know, to the left, but your GPS is telling you to go down the road 16 miles. Well, obviously, you want to go to the left and get on. But those are my, I guess, 13 I came up with. I think, I don't know, you guys would have to count them. Things I wish I would have known before I got the keys to my truck. I can't remember his screen name, but yeah, he mentioned, you know, when we asked what kind of videos would you like to see, this was one of the suggestions. Great suggestion, man. Great video to make. Now, why I haven't shut the video off is I'm going through some curves right now, and I am going to need to reach over and poke my screen, but I'm going to wait until I'm on a straightaway to poke my screen. Because you know you want to keep both hands on the steering wheel. Again, guys, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. If you have any good suggestions that you think would be a good video, let me know in the comments. I've got to go through those other comments and look for some other ones and do some more videos. You guys are awesome. Thanks for subscribing. When you guys go on these or watch these videos and stuff, please hit the like button. That gets the videos in the recommendations when you're watching other videos to keep my channel alive. You know, watch some ads for me so I can get some revenue coming in, so I can start. I'm going to use this revenue to help with the channel. You know, do things for the channel to make it better.